The greatest thing we can give to a person is confidence. You know, when you appoint a person for a certain task, the person's self-confidence increased. That he is worthy to be able to assume such responsibility. And the person will blossom, will flourish because of the latent potentials in each person. That's why sometimes the best thing we can do for a person, as if you see someone with great potentials, is to help the person to encourage and to help the person to use his or her potentials and not to stifle them. It's very important, therefore, as a leader, we must always keep an eye on those under our charge to see what exactly are their talents. But mentorship is more than just helping a person to develop his potentials. Mentorship requires a certain master-disciple relationship. It requires a certain intimate relationship between the master and the disciple, just as Jesus has shown the way. But it's important also to make a distinction that mentor and mentee, they are not exactly friends. They are more than friends. So there is a certain, you can say, a boundary between mentor and mentee, so that you will not possess. Friends tend to possess each other. That's the whole problem. Our decisions will be colored by our personal preference for someone. Favoritism takes place. So even in the community, in the office, it's important to remember that we are friends, but those of us who are in charge of others, we need to keep a certain distance. A distance not in terms of relationship, but a distance in terms of the role that we are playing. We have to be clear of that role so that we can remain impartial, so that we can truly be supportive. When you are a mentor, you need to pray for your mentee. You need to always pray for those people who are under your charge. It's very important because when we pray for them, they will be able to receive the grace of God to respond more effectively. If you're a head of department, do you pray for your staff? Do you pray for those people under your charge? And do you let them know that you are praying for them? And that is also important. Because they know that if you are praying for them, their hearts will be more open. And they will be more willing to know that, yes, with your prayers, I can do it. And I will do it. We must always empathize with our mentees. I know how much you are going through. I know your struggles. I know you are stressed up. But sometimes I cannot help you because I'm equally stressed, so we all stress together. But at least to know that we are carrying the cross together, that gives courage again, gives strength. We need to identify with people under our charge. It's very important. Otherwise, we cannot be good mentors. They cannot look up to us. They cannot find encouragement. Whether we like it or not, we are influenced by those who have charge over us. That's why mentorship is a very heavy responsibility of how we're going to form our people under our charge. Sometimes people tend to forget their calling in life, and we tend to rely on ourselves. You cannot rely on yourself. You need to rely on God. God has given the gift of ordination. If God has given you an appointment, if God has chosen you, He will qualify you. Always remember that. If God has chosen us, it is not because we are that good. God has chosen us because God can see in us what we cannot see in ourselves. Now, the mentee, you can have a very good mentor. But the mentee, what do you do? The mentor is like your lamp. The mentor can light up your life, but the mentor doesn't make your distance shorter for your journey. He can only light up. And so, if you're a mentee and you got a good mentor, all that the mentor has shown you, has revealed to you, you should begin to reflect on what he or she is doing. As mentees, we need to be receptive, to be attentive to what is going around you. That is a mentee. Again, as a mentee, are we listening to what the mentor has to say? How is the mentor empowering us? And so I think it's very beautiful. Actually, at any one time, we are mentor and mentee. We are never mentee, we are never mentor alone at any one time. Others are mentoring us. We are mentoring those under us. So we need to also remember our mentors. That is why we celebrate the saints. Why do we have the commemoration of the martyrs and the saints? Because they are mentors. Then we can turn to, so that we can mentor others. If you don't have a mentor, how do you mentor others? You must have a mentor first. We must go back to the past. So I think the greatest achievement of a mentor is to make sure that those under you will be great mentors themselves.